Back to your closet, Boogie Man.
クローゼットに戻れ、ブギー。
You don't have what it takes to make it over here.
しゃあ最終決戦。キース。俺も頑張るわ。てめえの女のケツ回したクソ野郎。やっちまおうか。くせえお、なんかプレスえ。
Huh. I thought you were supposed to be scary.
えおおおおおおおなになにあ、戦い方が全然違う今までと。あ、距離を取って、A ボタンを押して、おお来るな。距離を取っていけば、
Oh, and, none of your jokes were funny.
わお。で、A ボタン。首を。おおお今めっちゃ蹴り決めたな。おりゃおブギーマンの体力減ってる。わかってるっけこっちは全然大丈夫や。ちょっと待ってや。戦い方までね。距離を取って。
Oh, and, none of your jokes were funny.
で、A ボタン。きたー。デビッドにも単行本作らせたパッチギが決まったな。大木金太郎ばりの、もしくはボブブラジルばりのヘッドバット。で、70か。よーし。ブギーマン。来いよ。お前武器持ってんのに何もできないんだ。お前のジョーク最悪だったぞ。何するの次は。パッチ決めて。お、蹴りいいねー。じゃあもうどんどん決めよう。ああ。よし、決めよう。あ、隠れちゃった。
None of your jokes were funny.
どう何決めるこれは、パッチギかな今のパッチギやったかなちょっと、ここで。
So is this just a warm-up practice, or are you actually gonna attack? Oh, is that it? I was just about to have fun.
おぉ余裕決めたら、なにおぉ投げっぱなしじゃーマン最後のとどめはまさかの投げっぱなしじゃーマンすげえリックスタイナー、ジャンボツルタもびっくりな投げっぱなしじゃーマンへそで曲げるそして、ムービーが
I'm gonna find them. They've been gone way too long.
Did you forget what he said? It'll be a burden on him to move around on our own.
そうやぞ。ソフィーの件もあったんやから。
After all said and done, we'll tell him we did just what he said.
てか、お前、足怪我しとるやないか。
might have all gone stone cold by that time.
おい
Don't joke about things like that.
お前、助けてもらったみたいにおらんす。
Sounds like a joke to you? We got 2, maybe 3 corpses around here?
おい。
What part of don't you get?
シャーリー怒らすなよ。
Stop, you two. Don't fight.
We'll go search together. I'll lead the way. Sophie and Shirley, you hold hands. And Lance, you watch the rear.
Papa.
You really want to go?
Yes, we'll be all right together. And there's something I'm curious about.
What's that?
This whole incident may just be a great big farce.
茶番
What do you mean?
Let's be going.
最近実況のオープニングに茶番を入れることがなくなりましたけども、クレームが多かったんで。
Helena! Where are you? Helena!
デビットヘレナを見つけてあげてキースの方はもうボッコボコにあったから。あ音が聞こえる。ここの下にいたのか。あ
Helena!
大丈夫ヘレナさん
David!
なんとか見つけられた
That man knocked me out. I woke up here. I was unconscious the whole time.
ブギーマンも殺すつもりはなかったのかそれとも、そこまで力込めなかったのか
Keith!
Helena!
ヘレナこらキースは無事やって。
Where are you?
キースは無事そんな取り乱さなくても。そして決着。
Always on the run, huh? but marijuana addicts can move better than you.
そんな奴らも相手してんだ。
What's in that big head of yours?
おー来たよついに公開。ブギーマンの正体、暴いてやるはいブランドンか。ブランドンじゃない。
Brendan?
あ、ブランドンだった。やっぱり最初からそうだったのか。
You lose.
は
Detective.
差し上がったか。
You're Brendan? Why? Stop moving around.
Keith! Helena!
これでみんな揃ったけど。
We have to stop the bleeding. Lance!
Richard, help me out.
Sophie, find something to tie him with.
うん。
Keith!
ヘレナのロープでいいよ。
Got you.
うん。
Keith? You...
目の一番大切な人を見つけたぜ。
Helena, when we get home, let's finish. No more running.
No! Keith, stay with me, please!
よし、キース。キース
The servants and Stevie. 10 people died all told.
すげえ死んでる。ということは最初のブランドンの、あれは自分自身のなんか、そういうマネキンみたいな人形を使ったよな。
I'm sure glad to be alive now. Feeling glad to even have air to breathe.
取り調べ中かランス。
Listen, don't you say a word about all this, especially not to your coworkers. If it takes money to shut your yap, I'll pay any price.
Oh, bribery. Where's that money coming from?
My own pockets. Listen, you guys can distort the truth all you want, and I won't say a peep, 'cause that's freedom of the press. But this is different. I've got no tolerance for people pointing and laughing at a wounded friend.
Do I gotta tell you again? I'm not a gossip guy. I hate cops, sure, but I hate gossip too. I won't ask for money, and I won't say a peep, 'cause I'm grateful to the guy. So quit hounding me. But, as an involved party, I've got a right to know what happened there. I just can't wrap my head around it.
キース生きてたのかもしかして。
I talked to Brendan at dinner. Heard he got tired of the musty old castle and ran to Hollywood. Had a lot of fun in the movie biz. So what was the motive?
Guy's gone silent.
くそー、黙秘権を使っ
Sounds
とる
like he
な。
convinced you he was a goody two-shoes. But I bet you heard a different story in Hollywood. Now that's the kind of thing your lot should be writing about.
あれかな、いろんな虐待を受けてたのかな。
Nobody knows people's past, usually. But it's easy to fool you into thinking otherwise with a little acting. And once you know somebody's past, you can lead them by the nose. He tricked you all, and tried to kill you. What a farce. Not sure of the motive yet, but he was pretty systematic about it all. Spent a ton of cash beforehand to check up on all the tour attendees. Even did a background check on me.
か更新所頼んでたんやろな。
On you? Why?
'Cause I was going to be on that tour.
えあ、そうなんや、それであ、そっか、言ってたもんな、ヘレナが。ディックさんが、なんだよ、上司こんなもんくれやが
No
って。
wonder I thought he knew me. The hell? So he just researched us?
はあ、
That's the oldest trick in the book for us. Saying, I know all about you. It makes you superior to the other person, so you can control them.
あ、まあ役者だからそういうこともで
Then
き
they
るよ
freak
な。
out and have to submit. He knew that tactic well. Seeing right through people without any tricks. That's what makes a real monster, ain't it? In his case, He just used money and connections to dig up people's pasts, and played the part of a monster.
But the research wasn't to select candidates, so he just picked randomly. Damn, was he just in it for fun?
Now, my turn to ask questions. What you tell me is the only way I can figure out this incident. Give me anything you got. First, Brendan, or Boogie rather. What kind of man was he?
How should I say it? I suppose he had no emotion. That's how I saw him. He said such terrifying things without a care. He hardly showed any human feelings. He really was like a monster.
ちょっとソフィーが退屈そうにしてるのは気のせい
Dave
かな。
told me he was a real jester.
Jester? Absolutely not. I would have much preferred if he were at least a little silly. He was a very disturbing, terrifying man. He was totally calm as he did awful things.
Richard, you seem to have a suspicion he might be Brendan. Why do you think that?
お、リチャードも事前になんか疑ってたんだ。
When my daughter went missing, and I panicked thinking that man might have taken her, Keith told me something. This was the kind of person who would show corpses as decoration, so if he did take Sophie, he'd show off proof of it, meaning she was still safe. Luckily enough, I didn't see them, but indeed, evidently, there were many dead bodies left around. As Keith said, my daughter hadn't fallen into his grasp. He was correct in his assumption. That made me realize something unusual about what he'd said. Keith said he saw the moment Brendan's neck snapped, and his corpse was quickly dropped into the basement. Isn't that odd? Why did he quickly put Brendan's corpse out of sight? Why did he treat him differently from the other victims?
あー、なるほどね。確かに死体自体ちゃんとなかったもんな。
'Cause he didn't want you investigating it.
うん。替え玉使ってたんだな、奴は。
He's got some keen insight, I'll give him that. So you suspected this was a farce plotted by Brendan?
No, well, I suggested that since Keith hadn't checked the corpse, he might still be alive. I only wanted to believe there was a chance he was alive. I had no conviction about the rest. So I didn't speak about it to Keith. I wouldn't dare risk throwing him off with my amateur opinion. Not to mention we didn't know whether his wife was safe.
Apparently, Keith saw the moment Brendan's head came off, actually.
Was it a doll?
Right you are. Packed with neat little blood packs, it seems.
ようやったんか。
Brendan was hung upside down and had his mouth taped up, and it was dark enough to be hard to tell who's who. Just dressing him up the same way made Keith assume it was him. On top of all those flashy rave lights, he dropped the corpse down below so it was impossible to check it closer. And since Keith saw the tour conductor killed right after that, of course, he'd think Brendan was killed too.
If I'd said something, maybe this could have been resolved sooner, but I was paralyzed with fear. I was only worried about my daughter.
いや、もうしゃあないよ、リチャード。それはしゃあないよ。
Even when Keith was running all over the place for us.
Don't worry about it. Keith did all that because he wanted to. That's all. He's deeply glad you're all safe. Now, little lady, can we hear from you too?
Hear what?
Anything. What you thought. What you noticed.
Well, I knew he was a fake, because I've met the real Boogie Man.
本物のブギーマンに会ったことがある？あれ？サンドマンの時にいたっけ？ブギーマンって。
Sophie, stop it. Not this tale again.
Fine, if you say so, Papa. Guess I'm not saying a word.
意固地になって。こら、ソフィー。あれでも、ブギーマンいたっけ？サンドマンの
Go
時
ahead,
に。
please. Meeting the real boogeyman sounds pretty juicy. Can you tell me more?
Maybe not really met. He just touched my shoulder. But his hand was cold as ice. Right away I knew it wasn't human.
あの時か。
That guy's hands were human, though. They had warmth, so I knew he was just a regular guy.
Huh. So boogeyman's hands are cold, eh? Tell that to my little squirt. Anything else you noticed?
I feel like you might get angry if I say this.
I won't. Tell me.
That guy had this cold and emotionless air, like you couldn't tell what he was thinking at all. It reminded me of Mr. Keith, a little.
Eh?
You still think that way now?
Not even, because Mr. Keith got really mad at me. He was like, "Don't worry your papa ever again."
モノマネすんなよ。そこだけちょっと笑ってもうたよね。
On his face?
赤いペイント、あ、そっかそっか。
It was nothing like that. It was all red from blood spurts, though.
Really? Keith told me he had a weird paint on a torn paper bag. And one more thing. Did you see any red graffiti in the castle? Or any monsters? Hear any phones ringing?
No, I didn't.
Mr. Hoover, you're colorblind, if I recall. Maybe you just couldn't see the paint.
おい、エリック、それを言う
Yeah,
な。
but it's white and pink I get mixed up. I can see red just fine.
Well, and you, miss?
I saw quite a bit of the castle, but none of that. Did you hear that from the others?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think you're lying. The others said they saw nothing too. But then, that makes Keith the one talking nonsense.
もうあの時疲
I
弊
don't
して
think
た
Keith
わ
is
な。
necessarily lying.
What do you mean?
Because people don't always see the same things you do.
このデビットの言葉は、まさにあれだな、首が曲がった男の時の話なんだろうな。デビットは見てるけど、他人からしたら、なんだよそれみたいな感じに思ってるわけやからな。だからデビットは、
Thanks for the
そう
assistance,
信じ
you
てんだ
two.
な。
Sorry about calling you in 2 weeks after the fact.
Is not everything settled yet?
The police there are in the middle of their investigation. My role is just to assist. I'm going to report your testimonies to them, and that's that. I'll be off now. Eric, take them to the entrance.
で、キースは、生きてんのかな
When our son died, I thought my own life was over too. I couldn't think about anything. Nothing had any taste. But tears would suddenly come anyway. I don't remember anything about what I did back then.
ああ、
That
しまった。
Keith was always at my side. When I wailed and shouted, he'd hug me, stroke my hair, say it was okay. Eventually, I adjusted to life without our son. I found I could laugh again. But when I got my own emotions back, I realized Keith had stopped laughing. I had been broken, and so had Keith. Over time, I was able to heal, but he didn't. He was still stuck in the moment of Todd's death. He was always supporting me, so he never faced up to himself. I struggled to be at least a little stronger. Next time, I would protect him, since I wanted him to laugh again. But I couldn't. I couldn't repay anything to Keith. And I realized I was a burden on him that would keep him from ever walking again. So, even if we're far apart, as long as he can laugh again, then that's the best choice I can make.
My wife always brings me warm milk before I go to bed.
ホットミル
And
ク
last Father's Day, my little squirt tried cooking me a meal. I definitely don't need milk to get to sleep. And the kids cooking, I'll be blunt, it ain't good. But I'm glad for it. Usefulness and collateral don't mean a thing with this stuff.
まあそうだね。ちょっとした気遣いとか優しさだよね。
Keith didn't stay close to you expecting something in return. That's just what he wanted to do. You guys have got too much sympathy. You don't mind getting hurt for the sake of the other. But can't you notice that one of you being hurt hurts the other? You've just been getting more and more wounded as you go along. You're propping Keith up too, Helena. He can fight day after day, because he knows you're waiting at home, as much as I tease him about it. Don't think of yourself as baggage. Depend on him as much as you need. That's what he wants too.
Keith grabbed my hand and smiled, even though he was stabbed and wounded.
And what'd he say?
Got you.
'Cause he finally got what makes him happiest. But, man, too much discrepancy between your guys' testimonies and Keith's. Just how am I gonna report this to the department? Hey, Helena, he went back home from the hospital today, right? Can I come talk with him now?
よかった。キース生きてたな。
I'm sorry. Before he goes back home, there's a place he's going to visit.
あれかな、トットのお墓かな。
And I'm planning to head there myself.
多分トットのお墓かもな、キースが行ったところ。やっぱり。で、ヘレナも、そこに立ち寄ろうと思ったよな。言ってた。
キース。
キース無事でよかった。キース。
I've always wanted to cry like this. I never forgot about him. Not for a single day. Ever since he died, I was scared. I felt like even the slightest sign of weakness would make it all crumble. I acted like I felt nothing, like nothing disturbed me. I thought then I might be able to fool everyone, even myself. It was so stupid. I was broken a long time ago. It was all garbage, but I acted like a champion of justice. It always felt off. Whoever I was working for, I never felt repaid. And I saw you were safe, and you came up to me. Finally, I felt happy again. Acting strong just made me weak. It was pointless. Todd would never forgive his father staying broken forever, because I promised I'd protect his mom. I'll take off the blindfold. I'm gonna laugh, even if it's at a stupid TV show. If I'm pissed, I'll get mad. And if I'm sad... First, I guess there'll have to be counseling. There's something seriously wrong with my head, seems like. It's gonna be a busy time. It's gonna be so busy, I won't be able to do it alone. Helena, I don't think I can deal with just being a good loser. I want a chance. Let me chase after you. Let me get down on my knees. You're the only one I want waiting for me.
There's no need for a chance. Didn't I tell you? Divorce or decide. I've decided. Haven't you too? We only ever have one umbrella, so we hold it together. And it's fine if we get a little wet, because it'll soon be sunny again.
やったー。ハッピーエンドカムレインカムシャイン。雨は来るけど晴れも来るさと。クリアしたー。 もう、完全グッドエンドフラグ取るために最初からまでやって、もう、約2時間ぐらい、やった気がするけど。いやー、でもなんか、最後は、なんか、キースも辛かったやなと思ったら、キースも辛かったの。でも、ね、それを見せちゃいけないと。むしろ、そういう自分を偽ってまでね、こう、やってきたと。でも、もう、そういうこともしなくていいということをね、分かった次第に。まあ、ただね、もう、ブギーマン自身も、まあもう、本当に腹立ったけどね。でも、奴は奴で、そういう自分を偽ってきたんだろうね。ブランドンという存在を捨ててと。いうことなのかな。でも本当になんか今回のウリさんの作品は気合入りすぎやろっていうぐらいに感情移入半端なかった。キースにしろ、デビッドにしろ、ね、ソフィーにしろ、そしてヘレーナ、シャーリー、ランス、ね、リチャードとか、あと最後のもう、そうだ、大事なこと言うの忘れた。最後に、ディックをごめんよ、お前が犯人やと思って。あんだけプロファイリングとかさ、相手のことよくしてるってなって、で、後輩の、ね、やつが、汚いってなってソーシャルエンジニアリングなんかしまくりやないかっていうことでね、考えたらさ、もう犯人やつしかいないじゃんと思ったんだけど、金に物を言わせてきたか、ブランドンが。まあもうだってあんな古い城の持ち主ってなったら、それは金持ちやもんな。どうとでもできるわ。でも本当面白かった。こんなにもなんかこう、なんやろ、笑えたり、怒れたり、涙したりというね、まあ実際ちょっと涙してしまいましたけども、思えたのは久々でした。本当に。ブギーマンクリアおめでとうございます。この度当ゲームをプレイしたきありがとうございました。やったー。ゼリーズ前全2作品やりましたよ。そして今回そうだよね、声優さんがやっぱね、来たのがすごいと思った。やっぱ事前にウリさんからも聞いたけど、やっぱ声優さんたちの力あってこそだと思いました。特にもう、最終バッドエンドフラグの時のキースの、俺の家族を返せって時のシーンとかもう本当に悲痛なまでのね、聞きましたし。今作でなんとかマンシリーズは折り返し地点を迎えました。大まかなストーリーの流れは次回作にて。そうなんや。次回確かハングドマンやったっけ？吊るされた男。そうか、それでもう終わるんだ。なんか寂しいな。けど、それも楽しみです。で、真面目な番外編とふざけた番外を予定してます。そうなんや。だったらもうぜひね、デビッドとシャーリーのなんかその後とか、ソフィーとリチャードたちのなんかこう、ね、やつとか、なんかみたいな。ここでいろいろキースとか、そのキャラクターたちの紹介が見れるんや。いいな、これはいいな。わあ、これは、これはもしかして。いやー、ちょっと待って、今のは、サンドマン、何してんの君。じゃあ予告を見よう。これ予告って何やろ？ビデオテープに予告。?With support person. And many other assistants. 実写ムービー？これブギーマンの予告？じゃなくて、次回作の予告？これはゴールデンレトリバー？今度はあれか？冬が舞台なのかな？冬の森が舞台とかなのかな？で、これは廃墟かな？そう、雪が降る街のところの廃墟の。で、これはネズミだね。多分ペット用ラットだと思うけど。雪が降る街が舞台なのか。次は。そこに手が伸びて。首を吊った男、ハングドマン。ザ・ハングドマン。これまた次回も、行かないで 一人は嫌だよ。おー、これまた次回も楽しみじゃないですか？これはまた後でゆっくり見ます。ということで、長きにわたってご視聴いただきありがとうございました。ザ・ブギーマン。本当に楽しかった。映画だった。本当になんかやってよかったと思いました。ということで、まだクルックドマン、サンドマン、ブギーマンとね、このシリーズ本当に見てほしいと思います。ということで、次回のハングドマン出たら、絶対やります。ウリさん最高！ということで、また次回作よろしくお願いします。以上、ガマグミでした。長きにわたってご視聴ありがとうございました。お疲れ様でした。